This is even more painful than it looks.
Hey you, wanna know how I can do this, and this regularly with no back pain? And no, it's not luck or my age, as I've dealt with lower back injuries in the past. Well, let's begin with the what and the why. But please stay tuned for the end where I go over the how. Or if you really want to, you can skip to that now. Timestamps will be available in the description. Anyway, did you know that low back pain is one of the more common ailments we experience on a global scale? The World Health Organization reported in 2020 that 619 million people worldwide had low back pain, which is expected to increase to 843 million by 2050. To go along with that, it is the most common cause of disability, impacting people by the day in their professional and personal lives. The reasons are varied, but in my opinion, there are some relatively easy solutions. Why is back pain so common in the first place? Well, our low back is basically at our center and can be influenced by a variety of body positions and movement patterns. We also live in an increasingly sedentary world, as well as an increasingly overweight and obese world. In the same way that low back pain is seemingly an epidemic, so is sitting. And as funny as it may sound, this is one of the more common variables that is contributing to our back pain. Extended periods of sitting not only stresses our lower back directly, but it also stresses the areas that support the lower back, such as the hip flexors and glutes. So as a collective, we sit a lot, have excessive body fat that stresses our joints,
there go my shin bones again.
and we're not particularly active and therefore likely weaker than we should be to maintain a healthy low back. An unfortunate common notion is that deadlifts are bad for the back. But the truth is that deadlifts are incredible for the lower back when implemented properly. The problem does not come from training the lower back or even rounding the lower back, but instead the poor habits that I listed before. It's important to have a strong lower back as well as surrounding muscles. And movements like the deadlift are pure gold in this regard. Other great movements for lower back health are good mornings and back extensions. And even split squats are great as they open up those tight hip flexors. I also encourage direct core work. But one of the main concepts that I wanted to highlight as a part of this video is that many people are overly tight and lack mobility. And this typically impacts the lower back most of all, for the reasons I listed prior. A lack of mobility can be an issue with sedentary people, active people, and everyone in between. So let's go over the full spectrum of stretching and how it relates to the lower back. Stretching is a buzzword for sure, and it's definitely misunderstood. When most people think of stretching, they think of static holds. But stretching is much more broad. For example, even lifting weights is a form of stretching. But I do not believe that full range of motion weight training is enough to keep the body healthy. I mostly wanted to highlight the stretches that can directly help you recover better, keep you limber, as well as prepare you for activity, whether strenuous or otherwise. These can be utilized as a warm-up before your workout, as well as a warm-up for your day. And you can even use them as little stretch breaks when you've been sitting for a long time, especially if you're someone who regularly experiences back tightness or pain. Keep in mind though, if your back is currently injured in some sort of severe way, I do not recommend this process. Always check with your doctor before starting any workout program. As mentioned earlier, a large aspect of lower back health relates not only to the lower back itself, but also the surrounding areas. This includes lower body muscles such as the hip flexors, glutes, hamstrings, and adductors. But even muscles above the belt, such as the quadratus lumborum, the rectus abdominis, or even the lats, which connect into the lower back. There's a lot to consider. If these muscles are tight, they could impact your lower back and overall performance. As for how to best alleviate tightness in these areas, I will mostly be focusing on active and dynamic stretches. Static stretches should be saved for warm bodies and are best implemented at the end of the workout, to challenge the body's flexibility and help alleviate some of the muscle tightness that comes after the workout itself. As an extra step to utilize prior to the active and dynamic stretches, I encourage myofascial release, or massage, to the muscles in question. This step is not always 100% necessary, but they could be, especially for those particularly tight areas. For this, you can use a roller of some kind, a hard ball, or a massage gun. Spend at least 30 seconds on any given area. Alright, on to the main stretches. Variations of all of the above can be utilized, but we'll keep it relatively simple. Each should be performed for at least 10 reps per side, but I encourage you to do them until your body feels warm and limber. It really shouldn't take too much time. Starting with one of the absolute best, we're going to be looking at a figure 4 motion. These can be performed as squats or even laying down as a regression. You're mostly looking to feel the stretch in the uppermost portion of your butt, amongst other things. Next, we're looking at Cossack squats, which look more intimidating than they are. These can be done free or with support from a suspension trainer or some sort of sturdy surface. Take them slow and work with your body's mobility. With this move, one leg is squatting more normally while the other is working to open up your hamstrings and adductors. Toes forward is more adductor and toes upward is more hamstring. For the next few movements, we'll bring in some tools such as light bands and mobility sticks. But I'll also show you how you can do these without said tools as well. When using the band, make sure you keep some tension as it will add to the stretch. This is one that I refer to as a lat side to side. Each rep will open up tight lats as well as the quadratus lumborum. This one can be taken a step further into what I like to call around the worlds. Keep your hamstrings straight and hinge at your midsection and circle around back to your starting point. This next movement is absolute money. With one knee up and one knee back, you want to fall back slightly and rotate slightly as well, over the side where the knee is up, alternating this motion with a lean toward that front knee. Lastly, we have some gentle good mornings, which involve the low back directly, as well as work to further open up those hamstrings. A couple of bonus movements are a little more advanced, but are worth considering, starting with Jefferson curls. Begin with body weight and gradually add light resistance over time. Slowly flex at your spine, moving one vertebrae at a time, and then reverse it. Take it slow, and over time it will become more natural. The other bonus also involves a rounded back, where you reach for one foot with a bent ankle. This one really helps to open up the muscles on the side of the leg, which often go neglected as a part of the low back equation. Again, I also encourage static stretches at the end of any workout, as it will aid in making you more flexible and less tight in the long run. Focus on the same muscles that were used in the active stretches. And that's that. Well, there is always more that can be done, but these are the movements I utilize almost daily as a means to help keep my lower back healthy. Be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.